Black water presses from every side. There is no up, no down, only cold and the stone lashed to his ankles, dragging him toward depths untouched by light. His fingers find the blade hidden in his sleeve. Blind and deliberate, he saws at the final cord of the shroud. Salt floods his throat. His chest burns for air that will not come. One strand remains. He cuts. It parts. Release. The shroud slips away like a second skin, while the weight drops into the abyss alone, carrying stone and rope toward a grave that was never his. He kicks once, then again. The black fades to gray. The gray erupts into white and green, and his head bursts above the surface into air sharp with salt and rain. The gasp is less a breath than a shock, his body remembering how to live. Waves rise and fall around him. Lightning reveals only more sea, more sky, no shore, no ship, and no light from the fortress behind. Thunder rolls where land ought to be. He swims because the only alternative belongs to the sea, not to him. Edmond Dantès cannot yet know whether the storm intends to spare him. Dawn arrives in gray, then slowly spreads into pale gold across a sea made strangely calm by the night's violence. He has reached a rock, black and slick, barely wide enough to hold him, and clings to it the way drowning men cling to driftwood. Salt dries white across his skin. Rope and stone have torn his hands raw. Then he sees a sail, distant and low against the horizon. Distant but real. He measures its approach by patient seconds. It is a tartane, running close along the coast, her crew intent on rigging rather than scanning the rocks below. No remarkable name, no memorable port. Only a castaway the sea expelled without bothering to finish. Edmond Dantès does not climb back onto that rock. Someone else does. He lifts his arm. The tartane keeps her course. Then, as slowly as a held breath released, her bow begins to turn toward him. Rope bites beneath his arms as unfamiliar hands drag him onto tar-soaked planks, and a stranger throws a coat across his salt-burned shoulders. Someone asks his name. He offers one that belongs to no one, and it is accepted without hesitation, proof enough that the world has already buried Edmond Dantès. The reckoning comes unbidden. 19, the year of the harbor and the betrothal. 33, the man standing in this borrowed coat. 14 years. He says nothing. Numbers like that leave nothing worth saying. Behind him, across the water, the alarm cannon of the Château d'If sounds once through the morning air. 3 names rise in the silence that follows. He allows them to surface only once, reserving the next utterance until each debt is paid in full. Danglars, Fernand, Villefort. Grief claimed an hour. The plan requires none. He draws the coat tighter and turns his eyes toward land, already counting the first steps ahead. A room above a chandler's shop serves for the night. Beside the basin hangs a cracked mirror, abandoned by whoever occupied the place before him. He pauses before it on the way to the window. The figure in the glass answers to no name he can safely claim. Edmond Dantès would have searched that reflection for grief, for fear, or for the glow of the harbor. This man searches for nothing, finds nothing, and accepts both without surprise. He does not turn away as one recoiling from shame. He turns away as one setting aside a tool whose purpose has already been served. In the mirror, the borrowed coat settles across his shoulders, growing comfortable there. Already it seems to belong. Gunfire cracks across the black water before the customs sloop swings its lantern fully onto the tartane's deck. Below, the crew scrambles while sail lines hiss through hardened hands. He hauls rope without instruction until his palms split, until a shot grazes his shoulder and the edges of the night flare white before settling again. No one stops to tend the wound. No one asks his name. That is the bargain aboard this vessel, and he honors it. By the time the sloop falls behind, swallowed by darkness, the injury has become only a number, a price already paid. The captain leans against the rail and lights a pipe with perfectly steady hands. Goat hunting, on the rock there, Monte Cristo. No one bothers with it. He offers no reply. The wound will heal. The name will not release its hold. The name refuses to leave him. It follows through gray mornings and forgotten ports, where every crate he lifts belongs to another man. He spends his last coin on passage to a barren rock most charts scarcely bother to mark. Sleep brings fever. Gold pours from a crack in stone, while a distant voice recites numbers that vanish before waking. Each time, his hands close on empty air. The island offers only granite, gorse, and the cries of wild goats scattering before his boots. He climbs anyway, measuring each step against a memory borrowed rather than lived. At the third ridge, his palm finds them. Ancient cuts in the rock, deliberate and worn smooth by salt. No seam, no door, only the certainty that one was meant to exist. He traces the marks once more, then again, pressing himself against stone that answers with nothing except its own chill. The light fades from orange into ash. He does not descend. Something on this island remains hidden, and he intends to uncover the hinge that conceals it. He crashes onto the rocks with a cry that echoes across the cove. The crew rushes over. His ankle, he insists, is useless beneath him, spoken with the steady breath of genuine pain. Only his eyes remain calm, searching the captain's face for belief rather than pity. The sailors argue among themselves, then surrender. He will stay behind while they finish the run. 2 days, perhaps 3. He nods like a grateful castaway accepting mercy he never needed. The boat eases away from the shore, its sail filling with wind. Hull and mast shrink to a line, then to a mark almost lost against the sea. The headland swallows it. He rises without hesitation. No limp, no grimace. A man standing easily on ground where he never truly fell, turning toward the marked rock. Open sesame. The words drift into empty air, carrying away the last trace of the performance with them. The boulder refuses to move by strength alone. He drives an iron bar beneath its edge, leans with all his weight, and at last the stone rolls aside, exposing a flagstone hidden under moss. Iron strikes stone again and again until the slab breaks apart. Beneath it waits no soil, only a black passage descending into the earth. He crawls inside with the lantern held before him, rock pressing close on either side, the air colder than the wind above. The wall ahead answers with the wrong sound, hollow where solid stone should be. One blow, then another. The third breaks through, sending fragments into darkness beyond the lantern's reach. He widens the opening and slips into a second chamber, low and untouched since the hand that sealed it vanished. The lantern catches the far wall. Carved into the stone stands a crest, 2 crossed keys beneath a cardinal's hat. Spada. He sinks to one knee as another man might kneel before an altar. At the foot of the wall lies a shape too precise to be natural. He brushes away the grit until iron-bound corners emerge, revealing an old coffer, locked and unmistakably real. The legend has taken form. The legend has acquired weight. The lock has fused shut under salt and passing centuries. He forces the iron bar beneath the lid until the hinge tears loose. Gold. Coins stacked to the brim, their glow muted by darkness but impossible to mistake. Beneath them rest bars of precious metal, while gemstones lie scattered like gravel and strands of pearls spill over the edge. He cannot move, not yet. The lantern trembles in his hand, and the treasure answers with 1,000 restless flashes, more wealth than any honest lifetime could gather. He plunges both hands into the coins and lets them stream through his fingers, ringing softly back into the chest. Cardinal's fortunes, centuries hidden from the world, all of it waiting in this buried chamber, on this lonely island, within a single breath. He laughs, not from happiness but from astonishment, the sound too vast for the narrow walls around him. Beneath the laughter, another thought takes hold, colder and quieter. No man discovers riches like these and remains the person who entered the cave. The cave gathers the night around it, holding darkness the way the coffer held its treasure, close, heavy, and untouched. Far below, the sea keeps moving, indifferent to a fortune beyond measure. He sits with the opened chest behind him and never looks back. The gold offers no warmth. It restores nothing that was taken. It speaks only of debts that may yet be settled. 3 names rise in silence, weighed the way a man weighs a stone before deciding where to cast it. He neither leaves the cave nor retreats deeper into it. He watches the darkness instead, discovering what 12 years of suffering can purchase, and what lies forever beyond its price. The coffer moves only by night, broken into parcels too plain to invite a second glance. Gold becomes paper. Gems pass through hands in Genoa and Leghorn, returning as letters of credit that bear no name he is ready to claim. A yacht is purchased under another man's signature, fast, low in the water, built for someone who prefers not to be followed. Her crew are chosen one by one, men who have learned the price of asking questions. Stores are loaded. Charts are marked for waters he already knows better than the men who drew them. At last comes a quiet command, offered without ceremony. One trusted agent goes overland to Marseille to watch a harbor, a house, and a forgotten name, then report what 14 years have made of those who left him to vanish. The messenger returns from Marseille altered, not by the road he traveled, but by the burden he brings. He gives his report without ornament, eyes fixed on a point beyond the room. The house above the harbor stands empty. The old man's chair was sold to pay his debts, long before any fortune could have reached him. Louis Dante did not wait for wealth. He waited for his son, and when the waiting became too heavy to bear, he died with it. The disguise keeps the face still. It cannot steady the hands. Letters of credit, a swift yacht, and a carefully hidden identity cannot purchase a single lost hour beside that bedside. Then comes another wound. The scout speaks her name once, followed by one quiet fact: married. The years have carried her into another life, beside a husband whose rank opens doors Edmond Dantès was never meant to cross. 2 losses stand before him. One can be mourned in silence. The other must be locked away behind a face that has mastered concealment. The stairs above the harbor still creak on the 3rd step, the one his father always avoided. No one stops the stranger climbing them now. No one recognizes the cut of his coat or the measured weight of his stride. The door stands unlocked. Nothing remains inside worth stealing. The room smells of damp plaster and old candle wax. A pale square on the wallpaper marks where the chair once stood, sold before grief had finished its work. Dust softens the floorboards where a son's footsteps once wore the wood smooth. He sets down what he carries and removes his gloves, one finger at a time. When the tears finally come, they arrive without sound, the silent kind shaped by 14 years with nowhere to fall. His shoulders tremble once, then again, before settling into stillness. He wipes his face with the back of one bare hand. The gloves return, finger by finger, until the stranger has been rebuilt. There is no father left to receive the sorrow, no Mercedes to soften it. Only an empty room that has been waiting longer than he has. The landlord never learns whose hand signs the deed, only the welcome weight of the purse that accompanies it. A fair price is paid in full for a building no one else desires. The name attached to the purchase is borrowed from a city several days away. The room above the harbor will never be sold again. No future tenant will erase the pale square on the wall or wear the floorboards thin with fresh footsteps. It will remain locked and preserved, a debt repaid to a man who will never know it happened. He steps into the street without looking back. By the next corner, another identity has settled over his shoulders once more. The grief remains with him, folded small enough to carry but never small enough to leave behind. The diamond rests on the table, catching candlelight this room can scarcely afford. La Carconte does not reach for it. Her gaze drifts instead to the door, to the latch, and to the lonely road beyond. The abbé does not ask whether Caderousse knew the truth. He states the certainty, the way a creditor states an unpaid debt. Caderousse, Danglars, Fernand. The names fall from his lips like poison. Traitors, both of them, but I never said which one wrote the letter. He has already revealed too much, and he knows it. The diamond seems heavier now, burdened less by its value than by the guilt gathered around it. La Carconte starts toward the door. Caderousse reaches it first. The bolt slides into place, iron meeting iron with a sound too final to mistake. No one will leave before the truth is finished. The abbé folds his hands and waits with patient stillness, like a confessor hearing the first crack in a guarded soul. Caderousse looks at the diamond, then at the bolted door, then lets his eyes settle on nothing at all. Every remaining path leads through confession. The words come slowly, dragged free like something caught in the throat. Caderousse will not look at the abbé. He watches the diamond instead. It offers no absolution. The old man refused bread he had not paid for. Neighbors left baskets at his door, turnips, a heel of cheese. He carried them back outside and set them on the step, then walked away with empty hands and an unbent back. He sold the bed first, then the clock his wife had left him, then the coat. The winter, the cold, arrived early. He kept the chair by the window until there was nothing else to sell, and nowhere else worth sitting. Caderousse's voice sinks lower. The old man counted his coins by candlelight long after the candles were gone. In the dark, he still counted, because counting was the last habit left to him. He died with his hand curled around nothing. The abbé's face does not change. Not the eyes, not the mouth, not the hands folded on the table. Behind that stillness, a son learns exactly how his father starved, not from hunger alone, but from a pride too great for the room that claimed him. His eyes never rise again. Caderousse has crossed beyond confession, into the place where a man longs only to lay the burden down before it breaks him. His hands have gone still. The diamond rests forgotten between them, smaller now than it seemed an hour before. The abbé asks a single question. Who? Danglars wrote it, Caderousse says. Every word, in that neat clerk's hand he used for other men's ruin. Fernand carried it to the post himself. He sealed it, walked it to the box on the corner, and never once turned back. The names settle into the room like stones lowered into deep water. No splash. Only widening circles that reach every wall. The abbé does not write them down. He has carried lighter burdens for longer years, and these will never leave his memory. Outside, the wind that swept the harbor on the night of the arrest has never truly fallen silent. After 14 years, it has found its direction. The vow born in that storm no longer reaches into darkness. It has two names, and a face for each. The world rarely balances its own accounts. Some debts remain unpaid for a lifetime. Danglars prospers, his ledgers grow thicker, and his name is spoken with the careful respect reserved for men who command credit. No one asks where the first stone of that fortune was laid. Fernand rises as well, climbing higher than any clerk should, building his future on courage borrowed from another man's ruin. Doors open before him that ought to have stayed closed. Neither dreams of a cell beneath the sea. Neither remembers a wedding left unfinished. Mercedes remembers, never loudly. She learned long ago to keep sorrow quiet. A modest house, a smaller hope, a grief she no longer names, even in solitude. She has not been destroyed. She has simply never found happiness in the private measure that no ledger records and no repayment can restore. The diamond rests between them, gathering what little light the inn can spare. Caderousse does not reach for it at once. He studies it the way a starving man studies bread before daring to touch it. The abbé speaks in an even voice, almost indifferent, laying out the choice. Keep the stone and sell it carefully, allowing its value to unfold with time, or accept less now in coin that invites no questions. For a man whose hands shake before midday, there is scarcely a choice at all. The purse appears, small, red, heavier than its size suggests. Caderousse closes his fingers around it before the abbé has finished speaking. Gratitude crosses his face, sincere and fleeting. He believes an old debt has finally been settled. The abbé gives only a quiet nod, folds his hands, and lets that belief remain. The road back to the inn lies empty, carrying the silence of a man no longer watched. Caderousse does not hurry, yet the purse rides warm against his ribs, lighter than the diamond would have been, and heavier in every way that matters. La Carconte meets him before the latch lifts, drawn by the faint music of coin through old wood. She takes the purse without a word and spreads the francs across the table, counting once, then again. When the sum is settled, her expression is not. La Carconte turns a single coin through the candlelight, weighing it long after the counting has ended. 50,000 francs. For a stone that size, no fortune at all. Not for a man who has waited this long.